again. We're going to listen into some of the conversation that I had before, and then we'll just kind of discuss that, and then I'll see if we agree with it or we don't agree with one of my friends. Okay.
All right.
We're talking about like how to make yourself happy. There's a happy hormone it's called dopamine. You can make yourself more influential on other people. So that the topic is, how do you make yourself more influential and memorable when you get into a room? So one of the ways is to really try to tickle and engage other people's happy feelings, feel good feelings about themselves. And to do that, you have to basically, if you break it down with physiologically, you have to like help them release dopamine and endorphins in their brain. Our friend here is talking about the fact that if we go to a networking event, or if we're in a conference room or anywhere else, and if we want to have an influence on other people, like I said, we have to have help them release dopamine in their brains, right? And so it's what she's saying, which I agree with her 100%. If you are one of those people who does interact with a lot of other professionals and colleagues, which is what I do, and I'm always at networking events, and I'm always like going to different, functions and networking events, and she's so right that you're always doing small talk with people. Oh, how are you? Blah, blah, blah. And, how's the weather? And it's very boring. Like, you really want to have a meaningful, engaging conversations with people. Truly, and if you're gonna say how are you, really mean it. Say really. If you don't care, if you don't want to, just because it's so American. I hate to say this, but in America, people say hello, how are you? But it's just automatic. Like, they don't even mean it.
I know.
So for me, it's like, don't say it. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I've noticed that too. And then the fake smile, like they
Oh my
force
God,
their
I
smile.
hate
They're like, oh, I'm so happy to see you.
And what about the forced kisses like this? The fake. Right? It's like totally fake, right? It's totally fake.
It is,
okay.
yes.
So we don't want that. We want meaningful conversation. We don't like the stupid small talk. So let's learn about the solution of how do we convert the stupid small talk to a meaningful conversation in a such way where people are gonna remember us. The idea is for us to, instead of doing boring conversations, boring hello, how are you, how was the weather, blah blah blah, how was your weekend, how was your work, blah blah blah, really bold, engaging conversation that says, here I am, you're never gonna forget me. We want to have interesting conversation starters, right? And I agree, so rather than saying, oh, what do you do for a living, which is so standard, especially in the US, right? What do you do for a living? Instead, we can say, is there any passionate project or passion project that you're working on? Looks like my little girl is trying to come in, except I told her she can't come in without your hair combed. Go comb your hair. When you can come up and be your beautiful self that you are, then you can come and sit down with us, okay? Because right now, I can't even see your beautiful eyes. And we're talking about being memorable. You can't be memorable when your eyes are all closed up. Eyes are the heart of people. Eyes are the soul of people. So you have to have your eyes open. So go comb your hair and come back, please. Okay.
So I do agree with her. Instead of like saying, oh, hi, how are you, or talking about the weather, if you ask them about their project, then they're going to talk about what they're into, and you'll get to know about them more. So it'll be more interesting.
Try to find something in common with other people, because that's when they really open up. Like, if somebody doesn't know me, and then they come and they talk to me, and then if they start talking about tennis, oh my God, I'll be like, my eyes will light up, and I was like, tennis. In fact, actually, this happened. I went to see my doctor yesterday, and there was this young, doctor's assistant comes in to get me into the room, and I'm like, I don't even know, like, I haven't seen you here before. And then he was like, yeah, I'm new, I'm replacing so and so, and then we were talking, and then all of a sudden, the conversation about tennis came up, and I was like, oh my God, you play tennis too? I play tennis. It was really great. So
I play tennis.
Yes, you play tennis. Did you comb your hair?
Yes.
I don't think so. No, you can't lie to me. That's a big no. Come, everybody has to see your hair, and everybody has to make a decision if this is acceptable or not. Come. So I just want to mention this. It's actually very, very important topic that I want to discuss. I think embracing your not only your differentness, but also embracing your imperfections is really important. That's what makes you confident because nobody is perfect. That's what makes you unique. And I think, being different helps not only in the social situations but also in business as well. Memorable. Okay? So, what have we learned so far? We need to ditch the boring started conversations and come up with some very interesting conversation starters. Usually, talking about some passionate projects or talking about something that people enjoy doing, and especially like talking about vacations or their side projects or their, anybody interesting that they have met. Those are all really good conversation starters rather than going with the old boring stuff, right? So that's one. Second is try to be think out of the box and do something very bold and very different, because that's how people are going to remember you, right?
Right.
Not only in social circles but also in professional circles.
Right.
And that's not easy to do. Most people want to be conventional. Most people, I go into places and everybody's wearing black and gray. I'm the only one. I have a picture, in fact, I just posted on Instagram. I went to a dinner event. It was ladies' dinner event, and everyone. You remember?
Yes.
What colored shirt did I have?
You're like a pinkish, I think.
This particular time I was yellow, and everybody else had like dark blue, dark gray, or black.
So
I
it
was
made
the
you stand
only
out.
one.
Like
Totally.
that.
At first, I was thinking, "Oh God, I guess I didn't get the dress code." But then on the other one, I was like, "Who cares? It's what I like to wear. That's
And
it."
yes, it made you memorable because you were the only one that was wearing the bright yellow and everybody else was boring gray.
That's right. Going back to the point I was trying to make, if you want people to like you, remember you, and have a connection with you, you have to make them feel good about themselves. Right. You have to let them open up.
For example, I like your dress, Mommy.
Thank you, darling.
Or shirt.
Oh, thank you. But do you really mean it? Or you're just saying it?
Yes, I love the color blue. It's my favorite color.
Okay, great.
And Charlie took my spot.
Okay, Charlie, come. Katie has to sit down. Come sit here. Anyways, what I was going to say is...
So he made her feel good about herself.
That's right.
So she thought she was the...
So if she had to choose between the two of them, she chose the one who made her feel good about herself. In this case, he made her feel that she was the smarter person versus the first man she went out with. She thought that he made her feel that he was the smartest person. To be important is when you make other people feel important about themselves.
Yes.
So in order for you to be important, you need to make other people around you feel important about themselves.
I have an important statement.
Go ahead.
So, as you know,
Yes.
the amazing Mommy
Yes, my love.
is amazing.
To be interesting, you have to be interested. And it also brings back the discussion about empathy. As a financial planner, one of the reasons I believe that I was successful is because, number one, I truly had a real curiosity about people, and it was very interesting for me to hear about people, their journeys and how they made their success and how did they make their decisions, and and be able to help them, obviously. But to have empathy, which I believe, I think women tend to have more empathy than men do. At least they show more empathy.
What I learned is like when people talk about themselves, it makes them happy. It activates something in their brain. So if you get people to open up and talk about themselves.
I have something else to help with
Go
this
ahead.
topic.
Go ahead, tell me.
So when I was scrolling through YouTube, I found a video that shows it was scientifically proved that if you force a smile, you will automatically become happy after.
That's a good point. Yes, that's true.
I'm happier.
No, what I was going to say is that even as when in parenting guidebooks, it always says, you ask open-ended questions. So rather than asking specific questions or questions that can be ended, like the answer can be yes or no, those are closed-ended questions, right? You want to ask open-ended questions, especially starting with the why and how. And there's another one of my personal favorite ones is tell me more. Why? Tell me more. Yes.
So tell me more.
Making sure that the people feel valued is very important, not only among adults, but also for children as well, parent-children relationships. One of the most important things I remember from my research that I did when I was studying about parent-child relationships is the fact that even children, even the youngest children, we all have a basic human need of wanting and needing to be valued. So with kids, especially for those of you who have children, just to remember, keep the kids in a decision-making conversation, especially if you're talking about house rules or if you're making important decisions. I think if you don't include the children in a conversation, I think it's going to backfire on you. So the concept, whether we're adults or children, obviously we're more mature as adults, but these basic universal concepts apply to not only us when we're adults, but also apply us when we're children. What do you say?
Yeah, I think it's very important because if they put an input into it, then they're gonna stick to the rules, I think. Because if you're coming up with house rules and then you ask them what do you think or what they want to change or add, and then that will make them more accountable too.
That's for kids, and as far as for adults, I think if you, whether you're negotiating for a promotion, whether you're negotiating with a potential buyer or a seller, or you're trying to do a deal, when you ask open-ended questions and start to build a rapport with somebody, they have much higher chances of succeeding, and you'll have better profits as opposed to not. That's another thing about our newer generation, like my children's generation, your children's generation, the millennial generation. For them, they have no attention span, and they want everything needs to be done on social media or texting. They don't even pick up phones, and they're missing out that human component. That if you're in front of somebody, it's much harder to say no to you.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
If you're friendly with somebody, literally, it's so much harder to say no to somebody. You subconsciously want to help that person. If you don't know that person, you have no connection to that person, and they ask you for a favor or they want you to buy something, it's going to be an easy no without even thinking about it. To have a meaningful conversation is to ask open-ended questions, ask why and how questions, give them genuine compliments, ask questions that you're really interested in learning the answers. The worst part, my pet peeve, is when you're in a room and people are mingling or whatever, and then you're talking to somebody and then you realize that their eyes are glazing over to they're scoping the room to see if there's
anybody else there.
Oh my god. I know, it's like the no but. The word but is already even if you agree with somebody, you say, I agree, but right away it's like a negative. So the but is the negative component. So you never want to say but.
That's where you poop from.
You're going to say
yes
and or no and. Thank you so much for today. I think this was very interesting. We will continue our conversation. Yay! Bye.
Bye.